What does winter mean to a commercial driver? Imagine crisscrossing a stretch of road that can, on any given day during the cold season, turn into a minefield of black ice. Imagine being pummeled by high winds and heavy rain as you gas a 70-foot, 40-ton machine between two lines of paint with little, if any, room for error. Imagine a weatherman telling you all about the severe weather in your location, but telling you nothing of how you're going to make it home.
The threat for freezing rain
We
will
say
increase.
imagine, but on further thought, many JB Hunt drivers don't have to imagine this at all. This winter, they'll have to face it, confront it, and overcome it. If you're one such driver, winter is a high-stakes chess match against an opponent you have beaten before. But you can't take those previous wins for granted. You have to prepare for another match from beginning to end. And as always, you'll want to be the one who makes the first move. The work begins with preparation, both practical and mental. Practical preparation is straightforward. As you already know, operating in winter weather conditions requires planning in advance. Before you start out, thoroughly plan your route. Anticipate every stop you'll need to make. By planning your route to this degree, it'll be easier to adjust your strategy when adverse weather and road conditions arise. As you stop at regular intervals along the way, check for any changes or updates that may affect your travel plan. If any winter storms are pending, know the approximate location and time you expect to run into the storm. Be aware that just because it is clear in your current location doesn't mean that you won't drive into a storm. Be prepared for high winds, poor visibility, and slick roadways. If you're going to be out on the road for several days or longer, consider packing non-perishable food items and water, slip and water-resistant footwear, water-resistant clothing, warm clothes, extra blankets and batteries for your electronics, extra phone adapters, and extra medications in case you are unexpectedly prevented from getting home as planned. If you operate a day cab with limited space and you switch tractors each day, pack an emergency supply bag or backpack in case you encounter a storm and have no option but to wait it out. Stock it with a blanket, easily carried snacks, and a few bottles of water. If you are set to travel to or through locations that have recently endured a winter storm, make sure that major roads and interstates remain open. If you're driving through states with high elevation mountains, check relevant websites ahead of time to confirm there are no road closings along your route. No matter where you're going or what you're driving, always exercise the 5 keys of the Smith system to gain more time, space, and visibility on the roadway. It would be good to revisit the 5 keys as kind of a mental preparation, something to help you go into the winter months with the right mindset in place. Key 1. Aim high in steering. Key 1 puts action over reaction. It's all about giving yourself extra time to gather information. Extra time means extra options. And with extra options, you can make a better, more thought-out decision. So while the average driver exercises just 3 to 6 seconds of eye lead time, the Smith system calls you to raise your gaze and look much farther down the road. Your eye for detail should get out ahead of your vehicle by a full 15 seconds. Here's why this is useful when you're driving, and perhaps most especially during inclement weather. In this footage out of Iowa, we watch vehicle after vehicle ram into a massive pileup on I-35. By the time some drivers see the wreckage, it's already too late. The 3 to 6 seconds they've given themselves to react is not enough time to respond appropriately. What about the pileup that unfolded in Fort Worth, Texas in early 2021? There were more than 100 vehicles, all succumbing to the same patch of icy roadway, slid headlong into a carnage that remains hard to look at. Such situations serve as reminders to aim high in steering so that you maintain 15 seconds of eye lead time. High aim steering can turn the unexpected into the expected. It can afford you the time to act rather than react. It can buy you valuable options when any option is hard to come by. Key 2. Get the big picture. Key 2 calls you to keep 360 degrees of awareness around your vehicle. The driver in this video fails to notice the vehicle at his right front corner. Had he been more attentive to his mirrors, checking them every 5 to 8 seconds, He may have seen this vehicle on approach. Had he leaned forward in his seat to look over the hood, he would have seen the vehicle in that position. But as it happened, his circle of awareness wasn't fully drawn, and a collision was the result. Videos like these prove that you can't just fill in the gaps of your awareness with the broad strokes of assumption. No, in order to get the big picture, you need to check your mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. And sometimes you may have to lean forward in your seat to double check your spatial radar. Key 3. Keep your eyes moving. When driving, the brain should be a stream of fresh awareness, not a pond of stagnant information. To keep the information flowing, move your eyes every 2 seconds. When your eyes are active, you pick up on details that are otherwise easily missed. Take this video for instance. As the driver proceeds toward a green light, he shouldn't fixate on the light by itself. Rather, he should keep his eyes moving and scan the details surrounding the intersection. What small details might he see if he were to do so? Vehicle 2's brake lights let off prematurely. This is the million-dollar detail that, if his eyes weren't moving, he would miss completely. Key 3 is designed to catch those small details so that a driver can respond accordingly with time on their side. Key 4. Leave yourself an out. Drivers naturally tend to drive in clusters, but a cluster can corral you into an inescapable situation. Never was this concept made more clear than in the world's most prestigious bike race, the Tour de France. In 2021, a spectator holding out a sign encroached the path of the passing bikers. One biker's collision sparked a cascade of collisions. Just pick out a random biker and watch as an incident that he has nothing to do with sweeps him up and causes him to crash. He was doomed from the beginning because he had no way of escape. He had no space with which to option out of the crash. Of course, biking and trucking are two different universes. Still though, the lesson is relevant. If you put yourself in a cluster of vehicles, you may fall victim to a crash that has nothing to do with you initially. It's hard not to see how Key 4 proves its value. And perhaps most especially during the winter months, when roadways turn slick, icy, and wet, and an escape route becomes more necessary than ever. Key 5. Make sure they see you. Key 5 is the communication key, so measures like seeking eye contact, using your warning devices, activating your blinkers, all of these are components of the communication key. But occasionally, you're given no chance to make sure they see you. Let's play this video and put you in the driver's seat. Looking down the road, you see Vehicle 2 only for an instant. Can you be sure that Vehicle 2 won't pull out in front of you? No, not at all. What we might learn here is the flip side of Key 5. That is, if you can't make sure they see you, don't assume they do. The 5 keys of the Smith system are now fresh on your mind. Reflect on them further as an act of mental preparation for all that lies ahead. If you'll commit to doing the mental and practical preparation that goes into performing your job safely, then you should be able to face, confront, and overcome any challenge the road may throw your way, even if it's winter's worst.